Alright, when you pull the thermostat out, the first thing you're going to pull out is this right here. Keep in mind how you pull it out because it has this hole that goes basically towards the firewall when it's reinstalled. And then you got to kind of stick your fingers in the housing that it's in and pull this out. This is the actual thermostat. This one is rated for 180, and you can see a little bit of wear and tear on this one. So while it's out, I'm just go ahead and put a new one in, and just remember that when you reinstall it, it points like so to the driver's side of the engine. And then once you put that in, you got to put the plastic piece in, and keep in mind that it's 90 degrees on one end and then angled on the other end, and that's because once it's installed like this with this hole right here to the back, it makes, when this mounts, it makes it flush with it because it's not exactly 90 degrees. So just make sure when you reinstall that you do it right. Okay, to get easier access to the front of this engine, we took the passenger front tire off, and now we're going to take this plastic splash plate off. You just undo the one screw here, loosen these 3 screws, and then there's 2 screws over here you undo, and then there's a tab, plastic tab right here that's right there that you just got to knock out, and then you can just pull this down and out of the way so that you have easier access to there. I already took the cover plate off so I can get to it. There's kind of a hole right there you can see to get to one of the top bolt. They're fairly easy to get off. And now we have room to work to put the tool that will basically just go right on the inside against that hole, and you'll hold the timing chain sprocket in place. Okay, Napa carries this specialty tool to remove the water pump. There you go, there's your part number. Here in Colorado, this cost me just over $45. Probably be different everywhere else, but this tool right here goes down in there. When we'll get there, I'll get it in just a second. There it is installed. It's the blue part down there. You can see it. That's what it looks like from the bottom. And I use the 2 outer bolts there are the bolts for the plate that covers that hole, and then there's 3 little bolts that I took out already for this to hold the water pump to the sprocket, which are those 3. And those are 10mm. It's a tight fit, but I got them off. Next, we're gonna start unbolting the water pump itself. Alright, we're moving on to the bolts that unbolt the water pump. You need to remove this one, or undo it to where it's loose like that. You can leave it there. And then there's another one you can see up there that I already did. Don't confuse it with that one right below it. You can get that one from the top, and you can see it's right next to the motor mount here on that square notch. That's the other one. And then you have the 2 bolts from behind that are both on the outer side here. So remove those 4 bolts, stick a screwdriver in the rectangular hole, and you can see where it's loose, and just work it out. And that's what we're gonna do. Alright, we got the old one out. No big deal, just broke it loose with the screwdriver and just wiggled it with my hand. It came right out. This is the old one right here, and that's the new one. We'll just put the new one in real quick, and then slowly put it back together. Alright, real quick. This part is where the timing chain is in here, so it's oily. So when you look on the inside where the pump is, you see where it's kind of dripped down or whatever. You might want to take a rag or something, just wipe that surface down, so that way you get a nice good seal when you put the oil or the water pump back on. Make sure it's nice and clean. Looks good. Alright, now we're gonna put the water pump on. Alright, with a new water pump in, we put all 4 bolts, these 2 right there, and the 2 front ones only hand tight. You want a little bit loose because you're gonna have to stick your fingers in that little hole right there in the back of the pump, so that you can spin the pump just a little bit, so that you can align up the timing chain sprocket bolts, which are down here. There you go. You gotta align those sprocket bolts up all together, and then you can rebolt everything. And that's what we're gonna work on next, is slowly trying to realign that and putting the bolts in. And those bolts aren't very big. What are they? They're 10 millimeter, and you got to be really careful not to drop them down into the timing chain cover itself, because that would really suck. So my little tip is I put a little dab of grease inside the socket, and that will help prevent it from popping out and falling down. Alright, got the holes aligned, got the water pump sprocket bolts in. Then I went ahead and tightened the housing bolts, which is that one, the one up there on the square chunk of aluminum, and then 2 on the back of it. Remember, everything is aluminum, and you don't need to torque them down to 1,000 freaking pounds. Just snug. That's about it. So next we're gonna remove the specialty tool there, and then we can put the cover plate back on, and then we'll start reconnecting all the hoses to the back of the water pump. Alright, reassembling the thermostat pipe, which is this right here. There's an O-ring that goes on the piece that connects to this. This is the O-ring. Now it goes right down there. You can see where it goes in. You just kind of push it in with your finger right into that. You got to make sure that seal's there. That's where the thermostat goes. You got to make sure that seal is there, obvious, otherwise they'll leak. And with thermostat, you got to remember this plastic piece right here. So I'm going to push the thermostat in like this. All right. Real quick, I'll show you. Push it all the way up in there. Push it in there like that, and then this piece goes in with the hole here facing towards the firewall. Can't really see, but and just wiggle it in there. but we'll come back to that. Can't do this. Alright, once you push the pipe into the back of the water pump, that's the only thing that you got to do there is push it. But on the other side of it, let's see if I can get this for you guys. On the other side of it, right there, you got to make sure you're doing three things at once. You're prying the pipe towards the water pump, and at the same time that rubber O-ring, you got to make sure that it stays in, because it is a very snug fit. After a couple times of trying, I finally got it. And it takes us some finessing with twisting and angling the pipe, but I got it in there. Now I'm going to put the bolts in there. And then, of course, that's the thermostat housing. Make sure your thermostat's in the right way. And the little plastic piece, you know, with the hole in it, the hole is for this little bump right there that's actually let into it. So you gotta make sure when you put that round plastic piece in there after the thermostat that's where that hole is in the plastic piece, so that it can circulate the right way. So now I'm gonna tighten up the thermostat bolts, put them in place, and then we should be able to fill the system. So we'll see. Alright, once you top off the reservoir tank here, you want to start your engine, let it get to operating temperature, and then you're slowly going to add as it opens up and cycles through. And kind of to speed the process is I squeeze the radiator hoses to squeeze some of the air bubbles out. That way it kind of speeds up the process just a little bit. That radiator hose, and then this one. And then you also want to feel the hoses. See the temperature difference. Like this one is getting warm, and this one is over here still cold, and that's because the thermostat has not opened yet. Anyway, you just keep doing that, and obviously check for leaks once everything is filled up, and then you put the cap back on, because it's a pressurized reservoir tank. You got to have the cap on once everything is topped off to make everything work properly. And then once that is on, you know, look around underneath the vehicle to see if you have any leaks. You know, you can see that I have everything put back together, and I haven't found any leaks yet, but hopefully this video will help everybody, because I know when I was looking I couldn't find anything on this water pump. Good on the old 2.2, but not this one. Alright, enjoy.